King, birthday tomorrow. He'll be 20, so he's the youngest rider in the field. He's in red. Grid 3, Kenny Carter. On the outside, the unpredictable Finn Thompson. The outside gate was the one that won Heat 1. So can England anchor in there with Kenny Carter in Heat 2? And Carter was almost caught at the gate, but that's a better start. And it looks as though Carter has hit the corner in front. Carter leads it, coming around the outside. It is Thompson holding on the inside. We have Lance King from America, and England are in front again, and the Lions look to be roaring tonight. Carter leads it, King is second, third place Thompson, and Carter is stretching down the back straight. The unmistakable style of the Halifax Flyer. It's got Lance King, a world finalist. Both these riders are world individual finalists. And King is a gritty competitor and is not allowing Carter to get clear. Thompson has dropped way back out of contention. There is the battle up front. Coming into the last lap, 300 metres. And it looks like right at the back there, Stansel has got up on Thompson for third place. You can see just on the right there as the battle heats up front and at the back. And King is making his effort around the inside of Carter. Carter will hold him out. He wins it. And in third place, and that could be crucial, was Stansel. And so Denmark with Thompson will be rather feared. This man might be the host nation's Achilles heel, and they've dropped valuable points. Carter wins it for England. The crowd there not looking too happy at Finn Thompson, but England have made a most remarkable start. 2 wins, and they are looking good at this early stage. And the Danish camera is naturally focusing on Ollie Olsen. Really a folk legend there is David Jessup for England. DJ, of course, a vastly experienced World Cup campaigner. This is his 6th final. He scored 35 points in World Cup finals. No stranger to this atmosphere. Here is the lineup on the inside. Bobby Schwartz, the American captain and one of the great motivators. He's in red. Next to him, Ollie Olsen. The Danes need his magic now. Grid 3 has Václav Werner from Czechoslovakia in blue, but it's long in the tooth these days. And Dave Jessup on the outside, yellow and black for England. England have made 2 very bright starts at the tapes. Can Jessup do the same? Away they go, and cutting across the field it is Jessup from the outside and Schwartz from the inside, and that's the 3rd tremendous start from the Englishman. Olsen trying to squeeze up the inside of Bobby Schwartz. Schwartz closing down that avenue for him, and Werner goes wall on that corner, but Jessup's in front for England, and the English lads look in immaculate form. He's in front, Schwartz is second. Olsen is trying hard to make some inroads on Schwartz for 2nd place, and Olsen will try the outside run and might just have the grip and drive here as Schwartz moves across to cover him. The battle for 2nd place, but Jessup in front, looking very cool and in control. Well, this really is a marvellous start for England. They've got a fairly impressive record in this event. In 6 finals as England, they've never finished below 2nd place, so they failed to qualify for the final for 3 years in 82, 79. And Jessup has stopped, and Olsen is taken out, and oh my word, when is this rider's luck going to change in world finals? Just when we were leaning back and feeling that it was all over bar the shouting, Jessup again packed up in front while leading. That's the 3rd time in a world final that I can recollect, certainly in 2 individual finals, now in a World Team Cup final. And just when it was all coming up roses for England, the rain started to fall, and that is a body blow for England.
Dave Jessup, the old Dave Jessup luck again. What happened?
Well, at the moment we're not too sure. The mechanics are just whipping the top off at the minute, but unfortunately I think it's a big end at this moment.
So you got another bike to switch to?
No, not another GM with me.
So you have to borrow one now?
Well, we're going to have a talk about it. Peter has offered me his bike, but it's just a matter of who we think can ride his bike best, him or myself.
England going so well, David, till then, and you?
Well, in front, I mean, I must say I'm not a lover of buoyance, but, you know, I was doing the stuff then, and, well, some sort of luck's still with me.
Well, such a familiar story from Voyens, because now we have a very sharp shower of rain. It's raining quite heavily. It is very blustery out there, so hopefully it will go through. And so a World Cup final that has already had its incidents and drama, and indeed in England's case, disappointments. There's the score. You can see England, who looked to be so much in command early on, they have slid to 3rd place. America who haven't had a last place yet, in the lead on 13 points, the defending champions. Denmark easing into second place behind them on 11, England back on 10, and Czechoslovakia really already out of contention. Carter is back in the action for England. That's heartening news, because they've had 3 very disappointing races on the trot. Carter won his first race. He's on the inside this time. Next to him will be Hans Nielsen in white for Denmark. Grid 3, we'll have Alice Drimmel from Czechoslovakia, who didn't score first time, and on the outside Bobby Schwartz, who took advantage of that engine failure by Jessup to win his first ride. So here we go, heat 7. England can't afford to drop any more points. Carter has Nielsen right next to him. It's going to be a mad scramble up to the first corner. Carter is nudging the tapes, and he mustn't do that. He's going to be caught if he's not careful going backwards, and he has been caught, and Nielsen's away. Nielsen gets away. Carter's second, coming hard around the outside. It is Drimmel, and at the back is Bobby Schwartz. But Nielsen there made the clean break. Carter did well to regain some ground. Schwartz is struggling to get past Drimmel into third place. There is Nielsen. He leads it. Second place, Carter. Drimmel has got back inside Bobby Schwartz and locked up in front of him, and Schwartz has gone clear just out of our picture. This is the leading 2. Carter glances back over his shoulder. He's got Schwartz a long way back. Nielsen is going to pull the Danes a little nearer America. Carter, who really, we recall in the Intercontinental final at White City last weekend, he was caught at the tapes, and he did the same thing again here. He's made some ground up on Nielsen, but Hans Nielsen, who won the Intercontinental final, doesn't make mistakes when he's in front. So here comes Carter around the outside in a bold bid, but there doesn't seem to be that much dirt. And right on the line, Schwartz holds on. You can see Nielsen the winner. Second place was Kenny Carter. The Danes really have pulled themselves up by the bootlaces. The Americans, Bobby Schwartz, won't be happy with a third place. Bobby hurtling back to the pits. Carter made a mistake at the start, and it's still very, very close in the top bracket. You can see that in fact brings Denmark level on 14 points with America, with England by no means out of touch on 12 points. And now Lee, who won heat 1, looking back at his peak, the peak that indeed brought him the world individual title in 1980, comes in here as the Americans and the Danes battle it out at the top, and England still lurking in there dangerously. They must really recover their composure. Inside here, coming in for Finn Thompson, the Danish reserve Peter Rawn in white. Next to him, Michael Lee, yellow-black. Grid 3, Dennis Sigalos, this talented Californian who is such a grand stylist and such a steady gaiter, and a difficult man to pass when he gets in front. On the outside, the veteran Václav Werner from Czechoslovakia. He'll be in blue. So it will be interesting to see just how Rawn, who comes into the action for the first time in his first World Cup final, started the season as a reserve at Bellevue. He really has rocketed to the top here. Can he withhold Michael Lee and Dennis Sigalos? It would certainly bring the crowd to their feet here in Voyens if he can. Here we go for heat 8. Away we go, and up to the first corner. It looks like Sigalos has just got the drop on Lee. He has. Lee is in second place. Coming around the outside in the third place, it is Werner for Czechoslovakia. But England's gating talent seems to have deserted them, and battling hard now. Rawn trying to get outside Werner, and he's just squeezed through for third place. So Sigalos in front, Lee in second place, but Sigalos is disappearing over the horizon. This man from Ipswich, when he gets in front, he's talking to the bits. Well, there's impudence for you. And the American showmanship, they said they really were nowhere near as strong as they have been without Bruce Pennell and without Sean Moran, the Sheffield star who broke his leg just prior to this final. But now the Americans are in front, taking advantage of some good fortune when Dave Jessup stops, and Lee is closed up on Sigalos. Sigalos is looking for him. They're on to the last lap, and Lee will make one effort around the outside of Sigalos. Is he slowing? Is he slowing? He is, and Lee is going to catch him. Lee wins it on the line. Second place Sigalos. Third there in white was Peter Rawn, but Sigalos, it looked as though he was slowing down. Lee took advantage to move in, and well, that partially retrieves the damage for England, with America taking advantage of Jessup. It definitely looked as though Sigalos was slowing in the last lap. Looking back for Michael Lee, we wondered if he was just employing some psychology, but Lee took his chance, moved up, won heat 8, and that makes matters interesting in the score charts.
Dennis Sigalos, what really happened?
I don't really know. I know Michael passed me around the outside. About the first or second lap, I looked behind and I saw he was back there quite a ways, and I think I just fell asleep. You know, I was right on the inside, and it's not my place to ride. You know, I usually like to ride the outside, and I wasn't really looking to where he was. And coming in the last bend there, he just went around the outside of me, and so I just fell asleep. You know, it's just unexcusable.
So there we see the position at the halfway point. The United States with 16 points, both England and Denmark on
top nations. England will look to Michael Lee on the inside grid. Next to him, Alice Drimmel has done nothing. 2 last places. Ollie Olsen has had a second and a third in grid 3. On the outside, the very steady young Lance King, 2 second places. He has been an important cog in this American machine here in Voyens. Lee, well, he's unbeaten and really kept going to the checkered flag last time out to catch Dennis Sigalos right on the last corner. England looking to Lee way on the inside, and they're under starter's orders, and Lee tried to jump them. And away this time, and from the inside it is Lee who has made the run up to the corner. Olsen's in second place, going around the outside and coming through on the inside. It was Drimmel. Where did he come from? But Lee managed to hold out the twin thrust of Olsen and Drimmel. At the back it's King. This is better news for England. King battling through on the inside of Drimmel into third place for the Americans and getting up on Ollie Olsen's back wheel, but Drimmel has not finished. There is the leading pair, Lee in front for England. The rare old ding-dong for second place developing, with Drimmel going around the outside of King. And if the Czechoslovakian can get up here, that would really make a lot of difference to the score. But in fact, he's made a hash of the bottom corners out of our picture. They're following Lee up front, and well, so should we perhaps. There is the spacings at the back. And it really is swinging every which way. We've had the Americans in the lead, we've had England in the lead, and we've had the Danes in the lead. And now if it stays this way, it could well be that England and Denmark will be tying for the lead. They go over the line, Lee wins it. Second place was Olsen, third was King. Well, the score is swinging around because that now means that England and Denmark are leading on 20 points apiece, and the Americans have slipped into third place on 18. It really is a remarkable World Cup final for variations in the score. Well, here's Chris Morton coming in for Heat 11 in a World Final which really has swung one way and then the other. England now jointly in the lead with Denmark on 20 points each, and the Americans back on 18. There's Bobby Schwartz, and the Americans will look to Boogaloo to get in the groove and pull them back in touch at the top there. Morton's on the outside. He hasn't made a start yet, and he does like the run around the outside at the first turn, and England will be looking to him to produce that kind of party piece here in Heat 11. On the inside, if we look across there, we can see in blue Anton Kasper hasn't scored a point yet from Czechoslovakia. Grid 2, the Danish reserve Peter Røn. Grid 3, Bobby Schwartz. On the outside, Morton, as it really is tight and tense, and away they go. And again, Morton's been left. Morton really left a mile. He's swinging in, and he's moved through from last, almost up to first. Røn leads it. In second place, it is Morton. Third place is Schwartz. Brilliant first corner from Chris Morton, and almost brings Schwartz down there at the pit turn. And now Morton must get up on Røn. This is a surprise, the young reserve for Denmark, and he was reserve at Bellevue, where Morton is the big star, and he's stretching Chris Morton and moving out onto the dirt, and that's intelligent tactics. Morton's in second place, Schwartz is third, and we'd rather hope that England were the side with the strength and depth and the reserve twinkle, but it's Denmark who have produced the joker, and it's Peter Røn, and this could be the race that could win Denmark this World Cup on native soil, because he's going away from Morton and Schwartz, and really on form he's got no rights to do that. A young discovery, and the crowd here and Voyens will rise to this young man. Peter Røn, 21 years old, wins a race in his first World Team Cup final. Morton, must be said, disappointing in second place, and Schwartz in third, and that takes Denmark into the lead, and we can but conjecture if they're going to let it slip again. And as the climax of this World Cup approaches, it certainly is getting electric out there. You can see Ollie Olsen out there running from the pits to whisper a few words of encouragement to Hans Nielsen. Such an inspirational leader. There is the lineup. Peter Collins coming in for Dave Jessup on the inside. He's in yellow and black. Yuri Stansel could be a spoiler in grid 2. Hans Nielsen has dropped 1 point. He's in grid 3. Dennis Sigalos, who will be looking to prove something to himself and his American compatriots. after he admitted he went to sleep in his last ride and allowed Michael Lee to get up. So heat 12, a reminder of the scores now: Denmark 23, England 22, America 19. I think we can discount the Czechs, they've only got 2 points. And this is heat 12, and every point now vital. And PC Collins on the inside, the England skipper coming in. And away they go on the inside, and Nielsen's got away, so too has Collins, and Sigalos has made a line as well, and there's a branch out down the back straight. It's Nielsen leading, second place is Sigalos, third place is Stansel, and Peter Collins, disastrously for England, is at the back. So still Nielsen, Sigalos getting up to challenge, and Peter Collins has made an absolute hash of the bottom corner out of our picture, and perhaps that's just as well for him, because this really spells out disaster with a capital D for England, with Nielsen going away clear now of Sigalos, and England, who we fondly thought had the strength in depth and reserve for the ex-world champion, and a man who had scored 3 maximums in World Cup final, a mile behind now. Still Nielsen, second place Sigalos, and Collins has pulled out. Nielsen will win heat number 12 as the Danes start to consolidate. Sigalos is second, Stansel is third, Collins a forlorn figure with the machine packing up right in front of our commentary box here, but Nielsen has produced the goods for the Danes, and that means they move further in front now. And they're 4 points clear, and who is going to stop the Danes now?
Peter Collins, you went from second to fourth there. Why?
Yeah, the bike was slow, and I think the engine, the big end went to something on about the third lap, so it was very disappointing.
Moving into heat 14, Denmark now on 29 points, and that's 5 clear of England on 24, with the Americans on 22. And there is their surprise hero, Peter Rawn, coming in here in heat 14. Dave Jessup is thrown back into the action, riding a machine borrowed from Michael Lee, his teammate, and well, there's a considerable difference in height, about a foot I would think, so it will be interesting to see how Jessup will settle on a bike set up for a rider much taller than him. But we certainly could do with some inspiration from DJ. England slipping behind, and the Danes looking very confident indeed. Rawn won his last race, that was a real surprise. We look at heat 14 on the inside grid in red. It's going to be Kelly Moran, then Jessup on this borrowed bike. This is Alice Drimmel, who hasn't done much, although he got up and threatened a bit last time out. There's the lineup. Inside Kelly Moran, next to him Jessup on a borrowed machine. Grid 3 is Peter Raven, and on the outside Ondrasik, and away they go, and Jessup, it looks like, has made the start. Jessup's got away on a borrowed bike, he leads it. Second place is Moran, third place is Rawn, and here comes Rawn as they close down on Jessup into the pit corner. Rawn's gone wide, Moran's on the inside, and Rawn has gone around the outside of Dave Jessup, and this young man is having a benefit. Jessup on the inside, Rawn has found some drive where nobody else has found it, and what a hero we've got, what an unlikely one. Who would have dreamed of this? Peter Rawn, a giveaway virtually by Bellevue at the start of the season, is winning the World Cup for Denmark with an inspired show. He really has lifted his performance. He has no real right to take apart riders of the world-class ability that he has. He leads it. Jessup struggling manfully is in second place. Moran is moving inside Dave Jessup, and Jessup's trying to close down on him, and I think Moran might just get up. Moran now on the inside as they go into the pit corner, and Jessup is holding on bravely there as they turn into the checkered flag. Rawn wins it. Jessup is second, third is Moran, and Peter Rawn, 21-year-old, given away virtually by Bellevue to Cradley Heath. Who would have dreamed of this? Really is a fairy story in the land of Hans Christian Andersen. Erik Gundersen could wrap up Denmark's third World Cup success in only their 5th final here in heat 15. They really need 1 point to wipe out any mathematical chance of England overhauling them. Heat 15 then, so vital. Gundersen has been unbeaten and has looked immaculate, but he also has Michael Lee in here, and Mike Lee from England has been really a great success for the Lions. He is unbeaten. There is the score after 14 heats, 2 to go. Denmark needing 1 point. England have got to win these last 2 to have any hope at all. The Americans are finished. Czechoslovakia, well, what did happen to them? So the Danes prepare to celebrate, for surely, barring a disaster, Erik Gundersen will anchor the World Cup for them here in Heat 15. They just need 1 point. Eric is unbeaten. Next to him is Bobby Schwartz, the American captain. The Americans know their chances have gone. Michael Lee is unbeaten. He's on the grid 3, the third grid here, not a particularly fast grid away in previous heats. Lee, who has been a tremendous success in his comeback to the World Cup squad, no question about that. Gundersen on the inside has looked matchless from the start. The Danes on 32 points. England need to win these last 2 races, and the Danes need to have 2 last, which is highly unlikely, but still a race in prospect here in Heat 15. Gundersen and Lee in together. Schwartz is the way there, and so too is Gundersen. Gundersen leads it. Schwartz is second. Lee's coming round the outside of Bobby Schwartz, and has just got the legs on him, but Gundersen's in front and looks now well set for a maximum as he circumnavigates the pit corner. And he hasn't looked like being caught all night. We remember, of course, that Michael Lee got up to pip Dennis Sigalos, but the lanky Paul Pirate has a lot of work to do here, as Eric Gundersen here, this 23-year-old from just up the road at Ebbsberg, in what, his 3rd World Cup final, roars away up front. He's cleaning them out, he's wiping them out, and Michael Lee, though he's going very quickly, is losing touch. And this is the race, surely, that Denmark will take the World Cup on home soil for the first time. And who can say they haven't thoroughly justified that success? It's been a marvellous World Cup final, which has swung one way and then the other. And Gundersen's nodding to the pits to the lads and says, there it is, over the line. Eric Gundersen with a maximum individually. Denmark with a win in a final which has swung one way or the other. The Danes started disastrously. England started beautifully and faded. It looks like England will get up for 2nd place, but the crowd is celebrating, and Gundersen, I think, is going to get quite a reception. Lee sporting, and it's lovely to see that. The first to congratulate him, but Gundersen is about to be engulfed, because roaring across the centre green, there are teammates, there are mechanics, and I think that Eric Gundersen is going to taste the fresh air of Denmark from a horizontal level. Look at him, he's loving every moment of that.
Well, I must say the Danes are looking very impressive at the moment. Last weekend they won the Intercontinental final through Hans Nielsen, and now after just 15 heats of that World Team Cup, they've achieved that one as well. Let's get the final scoreboard now. Denmark accumulating 37 points, England 8 behind them with 29, 2 ahead of the holders, the United States, and Czechoslovakia could only muster 3.